Hello, 'tis me. What do you think? Um, I decided instead of looking at my ugly face, I put some driving videos on. You can watch that instead of that. In this way, I don't have to mess with the camera either. Okay, I've about had it with people who think people on disability have got some kind of golden ticket. Like, my God, let's educate some people. Okay, it's not an early retirement. I'll tell you how much I make. I don't know it to the penny. I think it's $587.50, and that's per month. My wife is also disabled, and she also gets that same amount. So together we get $1,100. I get $198 in food stamps. And my disability, which was approved, I went through all this tests, and it took 5 years and 9 months. And I had to get a lawyer, which I think is ridiculous. You shouldn't have to get a lawyer to do any type of thing in this country. I don't know why they're needed. Just make it so the average person can do it and you don't need a lawyer. How about that? But that's a whole other topic. Okay, now back to the disability. Okay, so we get about 1,200. Okay, and so I wait. What happens is the day you file, you start a clock, and they count up every month as if you were getting paid, and they basically hold that for you until you're approved. If you're not approved, then you don't get it. But basically, it's retroactive. And I went in for my final hearing 5 years and 9 months after I first initially applied. 5 years and 9 months. That's a long time. And after I talked to the judge, it's a judge, you see, and a representative from Social Security, I think, is where they're from. They're a job specialist. But the lawyer says to me, if you give them a couple years back, you'll be more likely to be approved. And I didn't really think it through at the time. I used my lawyer. I said, okay. He knows what he's doing, and I didn't think of the implications. And later it dawned on me that's bribery. I mean, either I'm qualified or I'm not. And whether I give them back money that's due me to get what's due me, I mean, it shouldn't matter how much money is owed. They're the ones that took 5 years and 9 months. They would send me paperwork and give me 2 weeks to resubmit, and they would hold that paperwork for months and months, sometimes as long as a year. They didn't hurry at all, but yet when I got paperwork, it's got to do it now. It's crazy. And so when I finally get my settlement, then you find something else. You don't get it all at once. It's not a settlement. It's retro pay for the time that they held you. You were qualified all this time. They just wanted to make sure. And I get it. I know of people who shouldn't have it. And they got it even much easier than I did. And I was honest, and that's probably my downfall. If I would have exaggerated and played the game, I probably wouldn't have had to wait 5 years and 9 months. But I mean, I had to go through tests, and they were on the fence the whole time. But anyway, the lawyer says give back a couple years worth of pay, and that'll help get you approved. And I did, and it did. I got approved. But you get your first one. It's a few months down the road. You get your first payment, and then it's I forget how much it is, but it's a set amount. And they say the law says they can't give you any more than that at any one time. And then 6 months later, you get another chunk of that money they owe you. And then and then a year later, now suddenly you'll get the balance, whatever that happens to be. In some people's cases, it's $40,000, $50,000, just because of the type of disability that they get. Mine wasn't like that. I got a few thousand, but it's illegal or against the law, or I don't know, against the rules, however you want to put it, for them to give it to you all at once, and they can only give you so much at a time, this little bit, But then all of a sudden, now it's okay. I mean, it's ridiculous. And you know what they're doing, at least I think what they're doing, is it's just holding on that money for just a little bit longer to get that interest out of it. You know what I mean? When I pay child support, they hold on to that money for 4 or 5 months. Yeah, I make this is all electronic. It comes right out of my paycheck electronically, and it takes 4 or 5 months for it to post. They take the money out of my check, and then 4 or 5 months later, that money would post. And yeah, it's then oh yes. Now the rules with this disability is, and I understand they don't want you living like a king because you're on the country's dime, and that's only fair. But the rule is you can't have more than $3,000 a month, which is an average person's monthly salary. You can't have any in excess $3,000, otherwise there'll be consequences. And I'm not sure exactly what those consequences might be. You can't, with that money they gave me, they basically told me that I can't buy anything of value, otherwise it'll count against me. I can't have anything of value after, they gave me a timeline. I think it was 18 months after I got the last of my money. I couldn't have anything to show for it, basically. You can't, you basically have to burn it or stuff it in your mattress. You can't put it in a bank account because you have to report all bank accounts that you have. I mean, you could do it illegally, but they'd probably find it if they ran a check, and then you'd be in trouble. And it's crazy. So it's not money like the average person you go out and earn and get your money. It's you. If you were able to save money, you have to hide it. You can't. You couldn't. Which, don't get me wrong, saving money on this type of budget is impossible. So yeah. But if you could, you couldn't save more than $3,000 at any one time. You can't have a car worth more than $3,000. You can't have a stereo worth more than $3,000. Or any. You can't. You have to be poverty stricken. You can't. I mean, But that's pretty much it for the disability. It's rough, but notice I didn't say anything about the pandemic. How about that? Because I am sick to death of hearing about it. My wife's sister did some hilarious videos. I guess that's what she does. She's bored in the pandemic. She's got one where her underwear is pulled up. It's fake. It's like a costume, but it's pulled up over her back of her head. She's dressed like a nerd, and you see her butt cheeks is a atomic wedgie, and she's dancing to some song. What was that song? You're dancing like Mick Jagger or something like that. I've never heard it before. It's not my taste in music, but it was funny. She's got her arm doing the Mick Jagger chicken walk. But yeah, so let's instead of focusing on all the bad news and all the death and dying, let's try to focus on things like that. Let's have fun. They even camped in their driveway. Did everything. Just set up the trailer, got a fire pit, barbecued, drank beer. Yeah. I don't know why you can't go camping as long as you just stay away from everybody else. What's the problem? You're going to catch it from the trees? Oh well, this is too long. Gotta go. Take care of yourselves. Bye.